quiet morning hid something terrifying, and nobody realized until it was too late. One teenage girl vanished without a trace, leaving behind only questions and fear. What investigators discovered later would reveal a predator hiding dangerously close all along. But Amber's disappearance wasn't the end of the nightmare haunting that community, because 1 year later, another girl vanished, and the truth became horrifying.
At this moment, it might look like an emotional confrontation, maybe even harassment. You're standing face to face with someone connected to the darkest moment of her life. But the truth behind this encounter is far more disturbing. You're relooking at is the mother of Amber Dubois, 14-year-old girl who vanished without a trace. Desperate to confront, may know exactly what happened to her. But Amber's disappearance was only the beginning. Over a year later, another teenage girl would vanish in almost the exact same way. And when investigators finally uncovered the connection between these two cases, the predator had been hiding in plain sight all along. Was only 14 years old, but those who knew her described her as incredibly kind, quiet, and deeply passionate about animals. She wrote about dreams of becoming a marine biologist, imagining a future working with dolphins and sea creatures. Animals were her world. Teenagers spent their time socializing. Amber preferred reading books and learning everything she could about wildlife. School introduced an agriculture project where students could raise animals for the local fair. Amber was thrilled. She decided she would raise a lamb. Aim for it. Amber researched everything she could about caring for lambs. History and books were filled with guides about feeding, training, and raising them properly. 13th, 2009 was supposed to be the happiest day of the year for her. The day she needed to pay the deposit for the lamb. That morning, Amber hugged her mother before leaving the house. "I love you." Last words her mother would ever hear from her, because Amber never made it to school. Noon, Amber's mother, Carrie, was still at work. The usual phone call from Amber after school. But the call never came. Instead, her boyfriend Dave called with troubling news and returned home. Carrie assumed maybe her daughter had stayed late at school, but when Dave drove to the campus to check, he learned something terrifying. Arrived at school at all. He heard those words. She knew something was wrong. Amber was a strata student with perfect attendance, a world that would have stopped her from going to school that day. Carrie rushed home. Its friends and neighbors began searching the neighborhood. Police were called. Doors were knocked on. Streets were combed. Sign of Amber. And as investigators looked deeper into the case, a chilling realization emerged. Likely been missing for nearly 9 hours before anyone even knew she was gone. As of the investigation, police initially believed Amber may have run away. Party spots, questioned friends, and investigated possible teenage relationships. But Carrie strongly disagreed. Amber wasn't rebellious. She didn't even use social media much. Searched her room. They discovered exactly what Carrie had described. Books about animals, research about farming, schoolwork, no suspicious contacts, online conversations. Amber's life suggested the same conclusion. She hadn't run away. Someone had taken her. Interviewed people close to Amber. They focused on the last person known to have seen her alive. Carrie's boyfriend, Dave. Investigators that the morning had been normal. Him multiple times for a check to pay for her lamb. He wrote the check and handed it to her, while she sat eating cereal. He said goodbye and left for the day. He reviewed the timeline. Dave had suddenly taken the day off work, something he rarely did. Call from the school reporting Amber's absence. Oddly enough, he showed up at Carrie's job around lunchtime with chocolates and roses for Valentine's Day, but never celebrated before. He went alone to watch a movie. To Carrie, the behavior felt strange. Staked suspicion. Police had no evidence connecting Dave to Amber's disappearance. They had no choice but to release him. The feeling that something was wrong. While standing in the bedroom she shared with Dave, Carrie noticed something chilling, a necklace hanging from the bedpost. Her heart began racing, and she had seen Amber wearing that same necklace the day she disappeared. To the police, begging them to search the house. But investigators couldn't act without probable cause, and nobody. The case slowly went cold. Still missing, was losing hope. Just over a year later, history repeated itself. 25th, 2010, 17-year-old Chelsea King went jogging at a local park. She never came home. Her car was still parked nearby. It's untouched, and within days, thousands of volunteers joined the search. Carrie immediately felt an eerie sense of déjà vu. Nightmare before. So she drove to the search center to help Chelsea's parents. But neither family realized at the time their fates were connected by the same predator. For Chelsea, investigators discovered a crucial piece of evidence along a running trail. Clothing items that belonged to Chelsea. When forensic experts tested them, and it belonged to a man named John Albert Gardner III, already a registered sexual predator living only miles away. Police immediately launched a manhunt. Within hours, he was arrested. Gardner denied everything. Something strange happened. Left a photograph of Chelsea on the table while they stepped out of the room. Gardner picked it up, stared at it, thing under his breath. "You ruined my life," investigators knew right then. They had the killer. Questioning, Gardner said something else. Something that shocked everyone in the room. He mentioned a name. It's believed the same man responsible for Chelsea's murder may have taken Amber too. There was only one problem. Body. Prosecutors couldn't charge Gardner for her death. So Chelsea's parents made an extraordinary decision for revealing what happened to Amber, the death penalty from Gardner's sentence. It was an unimaginable sacrifice. His family the answers they had been searching for. Gardner eventually led investigators to a remote hillside. There, buried beneath the earth. Amber learning the truth, Carrie needed to understand why. So she requested a meeting with Gardner in prison, face to face, walk her through what happened that day. And though the answers were painful, she learned something powerful. Amber had fought back, verbally, relentlessly. Gave Carrie the strength to do something almost impossible. She chose forgiveness, not for Gardner, but for herself. It didn't end with tragedy. The search efforts that once looked for her daughter. A rescue team dedicated to finding missing children. And search dogs, her team has helped locate numerous missing people. Chelsea King's family pushed for new legislation to protect children from repeat offenders. They fought for is now known as Chelsea's Law. And today, many believe it has saved countless lives. Dubois and Chelsea King were taken too soon, but their stories changed the world. And in a strange way, the two girls who never met in life acted silent warriors, forgotten.